Overcoming objections with rebuttals. I think, guys, this might be um, what makes it and breaks it for a lot of people. Um, the people that don't do well at this job are honestly unable to take rejection the proper way, and don't understand how to deal with objections and rejection. Um, People aren't just going to say yes, but every no you get, the closer you are to a yes. And this isn't something that's going to happen for you overnight. Some of you maybe. I was one of those when I started. I was selling three a day within my second or third day. But I was also motivated. I was hungry. And I was a hustler. I always have been. That doesn't mean you can't do this job. You've got to get out there and you've got to knock the doors. If you don't have natural sales ability, you're going to have to work harder. That doesn't mean that you can't do this job. A monkey could do this job. But you're really going to have to start understanding people and what they want and what they need and how to give that to them. The 15 most common objections, okay? We're going to go ahead and just kind of break them down here and quickly address how to overcome them. Not necessarily quickly, but we're going to go through them fairly quickly. I need to speak with my spouse. This is going to be one of, honestly, the most common ones you're going to run into, okay? And the key to objections is understanding whether it's a bullshit objection or it's a real objection. If somebody's just like, oh, I got to talk to my wife, I got to go by, and shuts the door, you think that's like a real objection, or they're really going to get back to you, or they're like, hey, come back later, I got to talk to my wife. Okay, that's all fine and dandy if you actually have done your work, you've sold that customer really is the decision maker, and he's telling you, hey, my wife's coming home at 6 o'clock. Can you come back when you get done working? Okay, no problem. Yeah, give me your phone number. I'm going to call you at 6 o'clock and make sure you're home before I come back. Okay? A lot of the times people just say things to get rid of you. So understanding whether an objection is bullshit or it's a real objection is the key. Okay? But let's talk about specifically, I need to talk to my spouse. Okay, if they are the actual decision maker and the current bill is in their name, okay, what I always say to people is, what concerns do you think your spouse would have? Well, I don't know. I just don't make decisions without her. I totally understand that, okay? I don't make a decision without my wife either. But here's the thing, okay? We're not installing the service right now today. I'm just going to process the order for you, and I'm going to, go back through all the things that are the reason that he wants the service. I'm going to set you an installation date and get everything processed for you guys. And I'm going to leave you my contact information. So when she gets home, you can explain everything to her, or just have her call me, and I'll explain everything to her and make sure it works out for you guys. And if it doesn't, and she's not interested for some reason, we'll go ahead and cancel it for you. But I mean, you are the head of the household, and you are the decision maker for this specific bill. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in your name. Okay, very simple. All right, not hard things to get around, and most people should be okay with that. I don't pay the bill. This is a good one, guys. You get this a lot from elderly people who tell you, oh, their daughters take care of it. And a lot of times they do. I ask them, is the bill in your name? You got a copy of the bill. If they got a copy of the bill at their house, they pay the bill. Okay? If the bill's going to their daughter's house and they don't have a copy of the bill, okay, maybe you actually don't pay the bill. Can we get your daughter on the phone and see while we're out in the area if we can hook them up? Okay? Always getting through to the decision maker and making a decision whether that person's qualified to talk to is the key. Okay? You need to make sure you're talking to the right person about the product. I don't watch TV. Everybody watches TV, okay? That is a bullshit objection, okay? Maybe I don't feel that I need to pay for everything that I want to watch. This is where I kind of find out what they're doing for TV service, okay? If they say they don't have TV service, they have either antenna, Hulu, something. It's very often that they don't have a TV in the house. But every once in a while, you do run into somebody that literally doesn't have a TV in the house. Usually it's for religious purposes, or they have kids in school or something like that. Sometimes people will take the TVs out when their kids are really young. And once in a while, you run into that kind of stuff, okay? But then I ask them why they don't have TV. Is it out of convenience, or is it out of, price, as necessity or convenience, is it something that you would have if you could afford it, right? And if they say, yeah, well, it's just too expensive, cool. Well, let's get you set up with something that works for you guys, okay? My friend hates his DirecTV, okay? I always say, okay, well, I could walk down the street and find one person that hates what you have, okay? You compare it to Coke and Pepsi. Some people like Coke, some people like Pepsi. Until you've tried it yourself, you don't know that. And I always stress that they're an intelligent person, and they should realize that they can make decisions on their own. It goes out in bad weather, okay? I always ask them first when they give me this objection if they've ever had the service before, okay? They've had DirecTV service before. It's hard, and this should honestly be one of them. This first time going through this, so I'm not sure if it is. If it is, we'll address it right now and just skip it when it comes up, since we're talking about it anyway. If they've had it before and they know that they've had issues with it in the past, which a lot of people have, you're in a little bit of a harder position than if they haven't had it, okay? If they say, no, I haven't had it, but, my neighbor told me it goes out. It's the same thing as my friend hates DirecTV, okay? But the answer to that is always, AT&T purchased DirecTV for $52 billion. Do you think they would buy something that every time it rains, it goes out? No, obviously not. There was a reason that they did that, okay? And obviously technology is improving and advancing, and which it is. And DirecTV has 99% signal reliability if installed properly. Again, it's not going to never go out, and you never want to tell a customer, hey, it's never going to go out, because the first time it goes out, what are they doing? They're calling and canceling their service. This guy lied to me, okay? You want to say it goes out once in a while, okay? But you can still watch your DVR recordings. You can still do on demand. There's tons of features that you can still access when the service does go out, if it goes out briefly, but the new equipment should resolve most of that stuff, okay? But if you had somebody that had a bad experience with it in the past, I always stress to them that, hey, the installation has a lot to do with it too. Where it's mounted. If it's mounted on a pole, it's not so secure. Ground settles. A 1/4 inch movement on a dish is a foot movement in the sky, okay? So that movement aligns the satellites, okay? I don't want a satellite dish, okay? Well, why don't you want a satellite dish? I don't like the way it looks. You guys wouldn't believe it, but that's one of the most common things you get. And a lot of times it's just bullshit. They just don't want to deal with it. But a lot of times people just don't want one. My own mother was one of those anti-satellite dish people for so long. But, obviously she has DirecTV now. But she was that way. She didn't want a dish on her roof. But you got to explain to them the advantage of it, okay? Are all the things that I'm giving you worth you looking at a satellite dish? You're not even going to notice it. It's a 2 foot by 1 foot thing that, you're not even going to notice after a little while, okay? And we can always put it in positions where you might not be able to see it, and go over different locations and mounting locations with the customer. What if the dish makes my roof leak? Obviously, all the technicians are required to have insurance, and it will be fixed if there are any problems with the roof leaking. And we use sealant to seal the bolts, so it's not going to leak. Here we go. This goes back to what we talked about. I've had problems with AT&T and DirecTV in the past. Easiest thing with that, guys, is like we talked about, just find out what the story is and move on from there, what the problem was in the past. Internet speeds are slow. A lot of areas they could be. But again, having DirecTV will increase the AT&T internet speeds. So if they had AT&T Uverse before in the past, which is the DirecTV or AT&T's version of TV service, and AT&T internet, yeah, it was slow because everything was going through the internet. But now just your internet is going to be used for just your computers, okay? And the TV is going to go through the satellite dish, so it's going to make it faster. And a lot of people understand that, and it's a pretty easy way to come over it. I'm about to move. I get this one a lot. and a lot of times it's just bullshit. Okay, where are you going? When are you moving? You know, start asking them questions about it. Be like, oh, that's awesome. Where are you moving to? And then if they look at you like, well, you know, other side of town. Okay, well, you know, when are you moving? You know, like in a year or so. Okay, well, you get a free move after a year. No big deal. Okay, we can always move your services for you after a year. Within the year, it's $100 for the first TV and 25 for each additional TV, as long as it's in market somewhere that our company can move it for them. I'm about to leave. I don't have time to talk. Okay, this can be bullshit and this can be the truth. Some, you know, people have lives. They have to go to work. Maybe they have to go pick some people up. Okay, same thing. If it's something that you're really interested about, set an appointment, come back and talk to them. But make sure you get a phone number so you call them before you come back and you know that they're home and they're not wasting your time. This seems like a scam. Okay, the key to every objection is asking them, what about it? Okay, well, what about this seems like a scam? Well, you don't have an AT&T shirt on. Well, here's my ID badge. You want to go ahead and call the office and verify who I am? You want to go on our website and verify that we are an AT&T dealer? You can go ahead and do that, okay? Find out what they think is a scam. Address that. Obviously, we're not a scam company, so it should be very easy for you to overcome that. I don't give my credit card information or personal information. They gave it out to get their current service, okay? The thing with this is they don't trust you, okay? If they're telling you this, it's because they don't trust you. You haven't built trust in the customer, okay? I never have a problem with this stuff because I build trust in that customer. And the way to do that is knowing your products, paying attention to what I'm talking about right now, and knowing a little bit about what they have. That builds credibility in yourself, that you've been around a while, that you know what's going on, okay? Worst case, if you don't know, put them on the phone with the office, okay? And say, hey, you know, if you don't want to give it to me, you can give it to our office directly, okay? But that's the last thing we want to do. We want to make sure that all the information is collected and submitted. That's a worst case scenario. You guys should be able to get this information from the customer, okay? And what I always tell them too is, we're going to put $1 hold on your card plus the $50 processing fee. So before I leave, just to make you feel better about this, why don't you, you know, go ahead and give your credit card company a call, okay? Once they give them a call back to process the order, and you'll see that you know, there's $1 hold on the card, okay? That $1 hold doesn't happen once you submit it through Sales Rabbit. The order needs to be processed, but it's still a good way to kind of let them take a look at their card later that night and feel better about themselves, okay? I don't make quick decisions. Okay, well, a decision doesn't have to be a quick one if it's a good one, right? So just because it's quick doesn't mean it's bad. Taking your time to understand things, you know, you seem like a smart person. Just because it's a good deal, not doing it because you feel it's too fast, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, okay? If it's a good deal, it's a good deal. Time isn't going to change that. I don't want a contract. Pretty simple, guys. Contracts benefit the customer. It's locked in pricing. Okay, if they're with their cable company and they're not on a contract, I always tell them, hey, look, your bill's going up every other week. You never know what your bill's going to be. With us, you know what your bills are going to be for 2 years, okay? It's consistent. It's going to be the same thing, and you're going to have it in writing. All right, guys. HPPC, what you guys remember from one of the other presentations, the cycle of the sale. It all starts over, okay? So when somebody has an objection, we're going to prod that objection. We're going to basically do what we did when we first met the customer about their service. We're going to prod that information, okay? We're going to find out what the problem is, okay? What about that objection, okay? Now we're going to pitch them on why that's not going to be a problem, or what, you know, is better about what we have than what they're saying, okay? And then we're going to close them again, all right? So we go right back, and that happens every time they object, okay? We go through that cycle. We start over. We don't go all the way back to the hook, but we go back to the beginning of the prodding, because now we need to prod not their services, the objections, okay? So I just use that as an example because you want to stick to those things. So it's PPC at this point, not HPPC, but PPC. when to walk away, guys. All right. I cannot in review, long story short, guys, overcoming objections is understanding objections. If you don't understand the objection, you can't overcome the objection, okay? Do not waste your time with people that are not qualified for the services. And don't waste your time with D&Qs, guys. There's other sales. The people that are desperate for the product, they want it, it's because they can't get it. All right? Yeah, we get lay down sales every once in a while, but don't be afraid to just walk away from something. All right? Keep in mind chargebacks too. You're responsible for that account for 6 months. So if you sign up somebody that does qualify, but you think they're not going to pay the bill, it may be worth you walking away.